Welcome, ladies and gentlemen. This is the Money Down Pod. That is Sean White. I am Kayvon Izami. This is the Super Bowl preview this coming Sunday. Cincinnati Bengals, LA Rams. I was going to say at the LA Rams, but it is at SoFi Stadium, but technically the Bengals are the home team. We're finally here. It's the weekend. The Super Bowl is right around the corner. The end of the NFL season is here. We had the NFL honors last night. Everything was great. And one big game to wrap it up, man. It's an interesting game. It's a different game. And I think that's why a lot of people are into it, Sean, because it's not the Chiefs. It's not the Patriots. It's not Tom Brady. This is a whole different crowd, man. And I think people are here for it. I think people are excited for it. And I think it's going to be a good game.
Yeah, I agree. I think it's going to be fun to watch for sure. I hope it's a close game so that we can cap it off after these last six or so playoff games. They've been amazing. So we cap it off with a really good one on Sunday as well. I'm liking what I'm from. Obviously, you have the dysfunctional teams that are going to cheer for Joe Burrow and the big Bengals to put off in their second year, and then you got some of the Lions fans back in Stafford, and just a lot of likable players out here. Everyone loves Aaron Donald. Everyone loves Cooper Kupp. Everyone's a big fan of what Joe Burrow and Jamar Chase are doing. It's a likable group. No one to really hate. You're not really cheering for a team. It's going to be a fun one. We got the halftime show getting all the '90s kids and all the ladies involved. I'm going to be happy to watch. So it's gonna be a show put on by them, and gonna be a Super Bowl. I'm ready for it. I'm excited.
Yeah, me too. It's going to be the halftime show is going to be ridiculous. I'm really pumped to see how that goes. That's going to be fun. In terms of the game, there's this narrative going out there that the Bengals don't really have anything to lose, and they can go out and play free. And I don't really understand that narrative because as good as Joe Burrow is, and boy, is he good. I mean, we were just talking about on the draft pod. I was saying how I think now that Brady's retired, I think he's the best quarterback in the league in terms of his pocket presence and awareness. Like that, I think he is really, really good. But also, when you look at the AFC and you look at Josh Allen, you look at Mahomes, and you look at Herbert, and you look at the up-and-coming guys like Trevor Lawrence and what's going to happen with Deshaun Watson, Lamar Jackson still in the mix. It is really hard to get to a Super Bowl. And while I do think Joe will make a couple Super Bowls, he's that good, nothing's guaranteed here. So this whole notion about the Bengals can go out there and pray freely and there's nothing on them, I don't really get that, man. This is the freaking Super Bowl. If you lose, you lose. Who knows when you're coming back? To me, the Rams have the most pressure because of everything they've done, but they made it to the Super Bowl at least. That they were going to get destroyed if they did it. And if you kind of look around the NFC right now, Sean, if I had to put money down on who I think is going to make it next year, just how the teams look, I think the Rams are it, unless maybe Rodgers stays with the Packers. But how can you trust him in the playoffs right now? So the NFC is way different. It's much more wide open than what we see going on in the AFC.
Yeah, you don't want to take a Super Bowl appearance for granted. You can ask Mahomes that. Everybody thought it was going to be 3-5, and it's one deal right there. It's sitting there because the AFC's kind of a gone at this point. So you don't want to throw opportunities away. Also, if you're thinking that with the Bengals, I think the Bengals back in the '80s know that better than anyone having Boomer Esiason make those two, and then after that it fell apart. I don't want to waste these your quarterback when you get a shot at them. So I definitely don't see the whole they have no pressure. They're the underdog rap. That might have been the case when they were playing Kansas City a few weeks ago, but right here, it's super pressure on everybody. You're right about the Rams. They definitely have that all or nothing, go for it mentality. So they're definitely in it long haul. But what you said about the NFC the week, absolutely correct. Unless Rodgers stays, that NFC group it's Rams division you got to worry about. You got to worry about Shanahan getting Trey Lance ready to go, and they can kind of throw on them. Or if Russell Wilson can get it on track, stays in Seattle. You're looking at a lot of what ifs in the NFC to be honest. And actually, it probably makes a lot of sense for a Falcons fan like you to be excited because they make playoffs. It's wide open, just like everything. So the Rams really. They do have the crack at it each and every year with the talent they have. But the Bengals definitely got to treat this like, hey, this might be our one shot, even though you are very promising with the Joe Burrow and a Jamar Chase talent that you have. So I definitely see pressure on both sides. That's for sure. I do think it's going to be a close game. I'm like how it's looking. If we want to start breaking that down, some matchups I'm looking forward to. really looking forward to the Chase Jalen Rams matchup whenever they do lock up. I don't know if they're going to put Jalen on him all game, but I think it's going to be most TV when he does line up over there. That's one of the first things I'll be looking at when they break formation to see who's up on who outside of that. Also, I can't see Aaron Donald go up against Bengals interior line, man. It could be like a wrecking ball, and for real, you can see some perfect teams getting thrown at him at this point because I think he's going to have a very dominant performance, and he's a one to put on that Super Bowl MVP list, especially if he wreaks havoc. Got some good odds for him if you want to vote Aaron Donald on there. Obviously, the quarterbacks are going to perform. I'm excited for this matchup. Big time matchups you're looking forward to in this.
Yeah, for the Aaron Donald, it really resembles what Von Miller did back in 2015 with the Cam Newton. Obviously, it's a little different. Von Miller coming around the edge. Donald's just going to bulldoze right down through that line, bro. He is going to have himself an absolute game. That's obviously the matchup we're all talking about here. I do think a sneaky matchup that we're not talking about a little bit is the Rams O-line against the Bengals D-line. The Bengals D-line has been very good these playoffs, and it's a huge reason why they came back and beat the Chiefs. It's a huge reason why they had a couple picks against Tannehill, the pressure that they got on Tannehill. I just think that the Rams, obviously, their O-line is way better than the Bengals, but that's something that we need to talk about because they need to get to Stafford and rattle him, in my opinion, to be able to keep this close. I think it's going to be close, but I think they need to make sure they pick Matthew Stafford off at least once and rattle him a bit. What I think we're going to see the Rams do, Sean, I think we're going to see him run the ball a lot. I think they're going to come out and run the football. It's just a gut feeling. I think that they believe they can fully dominate their force in the run game and run the ball. And that's what I'm interested to see. How does Cam Akers look? Is he ready to play? Obviously, my favorite matchup is the one you alluded to. What's going to happen, Jalen and Jalen Ramsey, Jamar Chase? That's going to be the best one that we're all going to be tuning into. Obviously, watching Aaron Donald. And another sneaky one out there, man, is Von Miller shows up in big games. I would not be surprised if Von Miller put on an absolute game. If the Bengals are so worried about Aaron Donald and they're putting so much attention to him that Von Miller just throws us back to the time machine of 2015 and he shows up and just has one of these phenomenal 3-sack type performances, a strip fumble, that type of game. I'm really interested to see how Aaron Donald steps up in a big moment. That's something that's going to be on my mind as well.
Yeah, I think Vaughn is very key. He's definitely been calling. They definitely got him for the playoffs, and he showed out these playoff games for sure with pressures and getting timely sack, force fumbles. Interesting. You said you think they're going to run the ball because I actually think the opposite. I think they're going to try to sling it this whole game. That's my opinion because I think this match is Odell and Kupp on those corners. That's why I actually think the most important in this game for the Bengals to win is actually their safeties. That's my opinion. I think it's going to be one on how Bates on Bell played. I think they're going to play a great game of just in coverages and baiting Stafford into throwing some picks. Because if you just leave them out on an island with Kupp and Odell, they're just going to throw up and down on the Bengals. If we're being honest, that's kind of where I see that at. But if they come out and run the ball, I wouldn't be surprised if they had some success doing it. The Chiefs had plenty of success on running the ball before, and they just wait from it. So if they do come out with a heavy ground and pound game, I could see Cam Akers having a big time game as you brought before. So that's going to be interesting for us to see. And we're going to know first half what McVay has came out with the game because he's not going to sit there and alter it very much unless they're losing. So I don't see that happening. Actually, one of my favorites is our Ram -3 for the first half. I think they're going to go in at halftime. And if anyone knows how Sean McVay works, you kind of know my winner is going to be after that. But I think the Rams get the halftime lead, and they're going to pull it off here in the end. It's going to be interesting to see if he comes out slinging or comes out running in it, though, because I think he could have success with both.
Yeah, so that's going to be the fascinating thing of what you just said about the Rams being up at halftime. Because I think if everybody watching the game that has been watching the playoffs, if the Rams are up at halftime, I don't know how many people are panicking. But if the Bengals are up at halftime, I think there's going to be some panic because I'm not saying that the Bengals will be able to do another second half comeback, but that's all they've done. That's what they did against the Chiefs. They were able to put together drives against the Titans, even though it was a close game. If it's a close game, but the Rams are winning, even if they're up by 10, 13, 14, it will be interesting to see how everyone's reacting on Twitter and social media on if they feel this game is over. But if the Bengals get an early lead, and that's what I want to see, are the Bengals able to fix their mistakes of starting slow and start off better this time? Because while the Rams will let you get back in the game if Stafford starts to turn the ball over a little bit, I'm going to be very intrigued to see how the Bengals come out. And I also am going to be intrigued, speaking of Sean McVay, because Sean McVay's been in the Super Bowl already. All right. He has experience here. If they do get an early lead like you believe they will going into halftime, how does Sean McVay coach this football game? That's what I want to see. Does he keep his foot on the throttle? Have that Stafford keep throwing it? Or if they are doing like you said, where they come out throwing, do they transition to a run game? I want to see Sean McVay. Does he make mistakes? He was very clear after that Super Bowl against Bill Belichick that he outthought himself. He said he came up with like 12 different game plans and he was doing all this different stuff. He was overthinking every situation. Has he learned from that moment? Is he going to be more prepared and ready to go? Is he going to be better with his timeouts? That's what I want to see. How does Sean McVay coach this football game?
Yeah, and on the side, do you think, well, did Zach Taylor learn anything from that as well? And will he come in kind of free and loose and really solve all those mistakes as well? Because Taylor and the decor for the Bengals have also been two of the best adjusted coaches we've seen in this playoffs.
Yeah.
I mean, the defense comes out and plays a completely pitch perfect shutout game in these games in the second half. So it's going to be interesting to see how McVay may match up to that as well, especially if they're having success in the first, because the Bengals have really shown an ability to shut down offenses in the second once they see what you're doing. So will McVay change up or a curve throw in that second half without out of his original plan, what he wants to do to that's going to be something to watch for as well. I'm really just enjoying the matchup of this. It's so unique where you don't have Brady Super Bowl or anything like that. You mentioned that at the top. It's kind of different. It's kind of weird having a young guy like Burrow out there. Many people like him. Joe Shiesty, he's all over the place. Then you got Matt Stafford with the redemption story. I love the stories for the Super Bowl, man. It's going to be so much fun to see how these people adjust and how they play. It's going to be a real fun one on Sunday, I believe.
It's going to be a phenomenal one. I agree. You know what else is going to be funny? How many celebrities are in the stands, bro? Yeah. That place is going to be littered with celebrities. Is LeBron there in a suite? What do you think?
Probably.
Yeah.
He needs
to get his damn Lakers winning. I hope Westbrook's not with him. I hope they're separate.
Braun and Rich Paul will be together. That'll be for sure.
Yeah.
Maybe Adele's there.
Yeah, for sure.
They're all in one together.
This halftime show is going to be phenomenal. You know, I saw a bet on the halftime show of which singer is going to sing first. And I got to give Nick Wright credit. Nick Wright said this morning on First Things First that he has a little inside scoop that if you're able to bet on it, hint, hint, Eminem might be the first singer out there. He said he had some inside scoop on it. I think that's pretty fascinating. Some books allow those bets, some don't. But that halftime show is going to be crazy.
So on that though, like here's where it is with technicalities. Is it the first to actually start singing and rapping, or is the first one that's brought out and talks?
So I think it's the first one that actually starts singing. And I think the way it's going to go is one person's going to actually go out there first, and then they're going to start coming. I don't know. That's the way he explained it. That's what it seemed like. But that's interesting. I would want to know that before I place my bet.
See, because if it's the first one to start rapping, I feel like they probably set up Eminem to like go off. Or you could honestly Snoop Dogg coming out. If it's the first one to be out there and talking, I think Dre is going to start it off. Like it's going to be Dr. Dre that starts everything off. So that's kind of where I need to know the parameters of the bet. You know, that's tough. So I don't, Snoop Dogg's the LA guy, so you would think they bring out like Dre and Snoop to start with.
I agree. Who knows? That was
I know
some.
my wife's more excited halftime show than the game, so that'll be
Yeah, I mean
how
that's
that
how
goes.
a lot of these people that will be watching will be. I mean that's why there's so many people that watch Super Bowl. It's obviously Super Bowl, but I also love the commercials. I'm a huge commercial. I think like the Doritos commercials are so funny. Like I love some of these commercials.
Yeah, that's actually that's one of the only times I ever watch commercials. Usually I record like everything and fast forward through them. So the Super Bowl having the commercials out there are pretty fun. It's like millions for 30 seconds.
Oh, it's insane. It's
Crazy
insane.
there.
Yeah.
You want to get
Awesome.
into the picks?
Yeah. So I'm taking the Rams. I'm taking them at
Yeah.
-4. I'm okay with them at -4.5. I think that they win this game by a touchdown. I would not be shocked if it's a 3-point game, though. So I'm not placing a big wager on this at all or anything like that. I think it could be a close game, but I'm all for the destiny thing. And I think the Bengals do have a little bit of destiny on them, but I think that the Rams actually kind of have more. I think that this is the Rams season. And we said it weeks ago when the whole playoff started. I said, if the Rams get by Arizona, they might be able to win it all. And they're here now. And I think that they're going to get it done. And Stafford's going to get a Super Bowl and he's going to get put in the Hall of Fame for it.
Yeah, so I actually like pick a little bit, but I'm doing it a little different. And tell me how you feel about this. So like I said, I like Rams -3.5, which show me they're going to win the game, but Bengals +4.
Oh, interesting. Okay.
Like the Rams to lead at half. I like the Bengals to come out and do what they do with the comeback. I think they're going to fall short very close. So I like the
Interesting.
Bengals with the points to end the game, but I like the Rams leading halftime and the Rams winning overall. Makes
Yeah,
sense.
that's a good bet. I mean that seems like it could actually happen there. I kind
A
of like
little
that.
bit of Nostradamus there, trying to like piece the whole thing together,
Yeah.
but I kind of I'm at on my bet for that. Also, I'll have some other props here and there. I don't know if you have any prepared. I know me and you were going to do player props, like the player touchdown, count carry, all the
Yeah.
reception yards. We're going to tweet those out. So you're following Mullen Money Down at Twitter because we're going to tweet those out Sunday morning for you to follow those. But I also have some just general game props that I'm into. So mine are score touchdown. It's yes or no. I know plus 120. I think the first score is going to be a field goal. And first drive, I think it's first drive field goal at plus 340. I think Bengals get the ball and go kick a field goal. That's my opinion on it. So that's why I like both those bets. You cash them both at the same time. Some fun props for me. And the other two I have is first touchdown going to OBJ. If I'm guessing the first touchdown, that would be my guess. Because I think they're going to bracket a lot. I don't think they're going to run the ball in. I think it's going to go to OBJ. He's been hot lately, so I like that one. And the last one, this might shock some people right here. This might you. I want any quarterback for 375.
Oh wow.
That's plus 200. So that could be Stafford or Burrow throwing it. If one of them start slinging, you could see Burrow get down, maybe hit that margin. You could see Stafford come out and sling it on a weaker secondary, go over 375. I like the opportunity of one of those quarters going over 375. I like those odds at plus 200. That's a fun one that I'm kind of into. That I'm money on for sure.
Yeah, that's interesting. I like all those. Those are fun bets. I like that. Again, we'll tweet out more of my bets and everything. Right now, I'm just taking the Rams -4. That's all I have. I will tell you that I'm going to be on T. Higgins receiving yards over. That's one, and I'm going to be on Cam Akers rushing yards over. Those are two. I still have to look at where they're at. If they're like drastically off than what I think, then I won't be on those. But I'm almost positive those will two I'll be on. And we'll tweet out the rest of those as we go. Anything else you want to add?
I was going to say I would be tweeting one out, but I want everybody to think about this if you're listening to it. Look at Joe mixing carry numbers as well as the Cam Akers carry numbers. I think both at 17, like to start with. I'm going to go a little under on Joe Mixon carries. I haven't the exact carry number for that. But I think about those Joe Mixon and Cam Akers carry numbers. Could you nice long odds on those? And if you hit that, that's a good payout, right? If you really have a feeling about whether the Bengals are going to throw or run more, or whether the Rams are going to throw or run more. Those are some fun bets for you.
Those are some very fun bets. And I actually agree with you. I like the under on the Joe Mixon. I don't think that they're running it as much. I think that they're going to be slinging that ball. I do, as I said, like the over with Cam Akers. I think they run it a lot more, but that's interesting. That's fun.
Yeah, always gonna be some fun ones. Make sure you're following that money down pod for these extra props that we put out Sunday morning. It's gonna be a good one. We're definitely some money on the game. Last football game of the year. So if you haven't got your bettings in, you want to get it in there. The last football game to do it on. Make sure you get out there. Bet wisely. Don't follow us for every advice. Just take us what we have. The reason you're losing it all, but we're feeling confident in our bets.
Yeah, no doubt about it. So well said. It's the Super Bowl. Have some fun with it. Don't go crazy. I bet because my team's not in it. If the Falcons were in it, there would be no betting. There would be no fun. There would be nothing but sitting there in my room with no one else and watching.
The
Because
remote in a certain place, your certain Falcons
all that
outfit.
stuff. The last time they were in the Super Bowl, I had people over, and never again in my life will I ever, if they ever make it again, because it was a disaster. I started crying in front of friends, family members. I mean, I was bawling. So we're not going to ever do that again if we ever make it. But they're not in it, so I will be having fun. Be responsible, but have some fun with it. This is the Money Down Pod. That is Sean White. I'm Kayvon Izami. Follow us on Twitter. Like, subscribe, review. It means the world to us, and we will talk to you after the Super Bowl, kind of review everything, put the season in wraps, and focus on the NFL draft. Talk to you then.